Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my round 0 predictions as well as doing my predictions for round 1, going through we finally get all 9 games, all 18 teams playing, and then obviously round 2 you have the byes, round 3, and then round 4 we finally get the 18 teams playing again. 5 and 6 we have again 2 teams on the bye, and then we finally get back to it in round 7 through to 11, etc, etc. You know the schedule, I guess, as well as I do. So going through, and before we do it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on. We are getting close to round 1 starting. You'll have Supercoach and AFL Fantasy team reveals on the Thursday. When we have everything go down with the first game going on, so you'll have that. But yeah, now we get into this video. So first off, we go through the results from last week, and I had the Swans by 10. They ended up winning by 22 points in the end over Melbourne, so I was 12 points off of that one. Pretty happy with that tip. I mean, the tip was right halfway through the last quarter, and then the Swans kicked another about 3 goals, and then Melbourne, I think, kicked 1 or 2 late goals, including maybe the Van Rooyen crazy one, to get it to 22 points, which 12 points off wasn't too... I was really happy about that one. I was just happy to see the boys get a win there, especially because Melbourne are a tough side, and it seems like we beat them at their own game. Then the Friday game rolled around. I thought, yeah, I've got this tip right on about halfway through the second. You know, I thought Brisbane, they've raced out to about a 45-point lead. I thought Carlton would come back a little bit, and 30 points would be perfect. And then Brisbane forgot how to play after Kitty Coleman went down with an ACL. And they blew, a 46-point lead and lost by 1 to Carlton. So I got that tip wrong in the end, as I had them up by 30, and they ended up losing by 1. So that was an annoying tip there. Then you get to the Gold Coast versus Richmond game. I had this one Suns by 8, and so I was 31 points off there, with the Suns running out 39-point winners. Richmond looked horrific in that first half. I think what did it get out to 68-6, I want to say, before Richmond kicked a goal, and then went on a run to close it to within 25 points, and then it went out again to 39 in the last. So yeah, Richmond just looked poor, and they look like a stomping ground almost for teams in AFL Fantasy wise, so they look like a decent matchup. Then you have GWS versus Collingwood. I had GWS by 13, and if Collingwood actually kicked straight and got to like a 16 goals 11 or a 15 goals 12, 15 goals 12 would have been a 12-point margin, which would have been GWS by 13 would have looked great. But obviously Collingwood decided to not kick straight, 11 goals 16 to GWS's 18 goals 6. If GWS had kicked inaccurately and kicked something like 13 goals 11, 14 goals 10 or something, 14 goals 10, and it would have been, I guess, another close one. It would have been another 12-pointer, I believe that is. So yeah, I was pretty close. Both teams just kicked one very accurately and one very inaccurately, and that's what caused the divide there. So anyway, now we go on to the round 1. So Thursday night you get the classic Richmond against Carlton. If I had to tip this, I think Carlton is the obvious one. They're probably going to win this pretty convincingly. I'd say Richmond are looking really, really poor. Carlton do have Doherty out with an ACL, but I think that they're going to only get stronger with Walsh and Wiedering coming back. So I think they're going to win this one by, I think it's going to be 36 points. Honestly, I think it will be a smashing. So I'm going to pick Carlton by 36. Then we go to the Swans versus Collingwood. Very, very much in the favour of Collingwood over the Swans, probably rightly so, given that the Collingwood are unveiling their premiership banner. Yet again, the Swans get the honour of being the team that they play against the premiership of last year, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, Collingwood against Sydney. I kind of want to just go with the Swans, just because Collingwood, although Collingwood are a strong favourite in this, I think the Swans are actually very much underrated this year, and I think Collingwood do have some struggles. I think their accountability was well off, and I think the Swans smashed a Melbourne side that are really are actually pretty decent. I thought that Melbourne were pretty decent. I mean, other than Shaki absolutely burning Max Gawn up in the ruck, I thought that the D's could have easily came back. They were only 2 points down at three-quarter time, so I'm actually going to go against the grain and go the Swans, and I think I'm going to go the Swans by 13 points. Again, a very much similar to what I did in round one. Wouldn't be surprised if that flips. I know it's a tough game, but I'm going to go the Swans and hope they start 2-0. A little bit of a bias there, but I think it can be done. Then you have Essendon versus Hawthorn. I thought both of them are, I don't think, going to start the greatest, but I think Essendon is just a smart tip. Because I think that down back there is a lot more issues for Hawthorn in their team structure with their tools than there is for Essendon with their tools. So I'm just going to go with Essendon by, I think, 16 points. Then we get to GWS versus North, and yeah, that's enough said about that game. GWS is going to steamroll it, and I think they're going to win by, I think 50 points is just a fair margin for that one. I think GWS look like the form team in the comp. To be honest, they romped home against Collingwood and could easily beat Collingwood by 50 points if they had really tried in the last half of that fourth quarter. Then we get to Geelong versus St Kilda. St Kilda have some outs, so do Geelong. I think that St Kilda probably have bigger outs at the moment with Sinclair being out, so I think this is probably the wrong time for St Kilda to get such a team against Geelong. I think Geelong are probably... I think they're the safer pick to go with, so I'm probably just going to go with Geelong in this game, and I think that I'm going to pick Geelong in a close one by 15 points over the likes of St Kilda. Even though I do like St Kilda, I think at the moment they've just got too many guys out at the moment, but that could obviously change by the time that this video honestly gets released on it's filmed on the Tuesday, gets released on the Wednesday. And team lists come out on the Thursday. So by the time that this game is played, I wouldn't be surprised if St Kilda's injury list is so small that it doesn't actually, that their percentage flips. But obviously I'm going to stick with that prediction that I put in on this Tuesday. Then we have Gold Coast versus Adelaide. Gold Coast. This is a tight one. Again, could see both sides winning this. It's hard to say. But I'm going to go with Gold Coast off them already having a game in, and I'm going to go them by 17 points. And I just think that King looks really good at the moment as well as Ben King. I think he looks really good. I think Lukosius looks good, and I think Roses is a good third forwards for them. So yeah, I think that three punch there will do really well, and there is a worry about the tools for Adelaide, with Thilthorpe out for like 3 months or whatever. So there's that. Sunday, the home team, basically every single game except for the Swans game. And you've got Melbourne against the Bulldogs. I think Melbourne do look like a really good side. I think Gorm won't struggle as much. It'll be a 1 p.m. on a Melbourne ground, which should be a lot better than the humid conditions up in Sydney when it was like 28 degrees and humid. So yeah, I think that Gorm does a lot better. He looks a lot better. And against English, I don't think there'll be as much rough and tuffle that there was with the likes of Grundy. So I'm going to go with Melbourne there. I think their midfield gets back to its best. I know that Bont, and I know it's two massive midfields, but I like the... I think I just would rather the Melbourne midfield of Viney, Petrarca, and Oliver over the likes of the Western Bulldogs midfield of... Well, it's going to be probably Bont, Libba, and I would say Sanders or Treloar. I just like the Melbourne midfield a little bit more. So I'm going to go Melbourne by 16 points, I reckon. Then you have Port versus West Coast Eagles. That is an easy Port victory. I would be shocked if they lost that one, but I'm going to go Port by... I think 45 points, to be honest with you. That could blow out more, but I'm trying to be respectable here. And then you got Optus Stadium, Freo versus Brisbane. I'm going to go Brisbane by, I think Brisbane will respond in a massive fashion, and I'm going to go Brisbane by, I think, 40 points. If this gets to a point later on in the season where we see something similar, say this was later on and you see Freo or a West Coast in a similar position, it would probably be Brisbane like 60 or 70 points. But I think at the early point in the season, we'll go with a little bit simpler results and a little bit closer margins. But anyway, that is the video. Pretty short one, I guess. I'm trying to keep these tips videos down a little bit in timing just to make them shorter for you guys. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the team reveals coming out on Thursday. Bye, guys.